What is the future of this historic event that seems to be searching for bodies inside the top 25? They were bereft of that this year.
I think there was a lot of hand-wringing last week, and for good reason. I mean, we've spent a lot of time over the last few months talking about what the future PGA Tour schedule is going to look like, and if the idea is going to be less is more, which Tiger Woods put voice to that last year in December at the Bahamas when he sort of talked about the work of the Future Competitions Committee. If you're an event like the Cognizant Classic, and I'm not trying to pick on them, but this is pretty obvious, you're probably looking yourself in the mirror thinking to yourself, are we expendable? Are we going to be on the wrong end of less is more? And you pointed out the field last week. Not one player out of the top 25 in the world. This isn't a Cognizant Classic problem. To be fair, they have an awful spot on the schedule. You're wedged in between two signature events that are player hosted between Genesis, Tiger Woods, and the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Arnold Palmer the very next week. And then, oh yeah, on the bookends of that, you had Pebble Beach, and then you have the Players Championship coming up in a few weeks. Even for the players that live in South Florida, 5 weeks in a row is asking too much. And that's the problem that you end up with tournaments like this. We talked about this on the podcast last night. I do want to stress that of all the hand-wringing last week about the future of the Cognizant Classic, I think we probably need to pump the brakes a little bit on what the future schedule might look like, because by all accounts, they're still trying to figure it out themselves.
Well, and Lab, that's kind of the next chapter for Brian Rolapp. His first big move, roster-related. Then you get to schedule-related, and you have tournament organizers and title sponsors who want to be in business with the PGA Tour. You have Golf Channel, CBS, NBC, all these networks that want to broadcast these events, players who want more opportunities. So then how do you define scarcity, and what's the right balance?
Yeah, I think that's the big question that Brian Rolapp, hopefully we're going to have some answers in the next 8 or 9 days when he's expected to meet with reporters ahead of the Players' Championship. And I think, George, when he looks like specifically at the Cognizant Classic, it's a really interesting situation because the golf course at PGA National is recognizable. It's familiar to golf fans. I think that counts for something. And there's this big focus. I talked to Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players' Championship a couple weeks ago when he was honing down on one of the three main talking points for the players and what the future model is going to look like. He was own the summer, getting into the biggest markets, which I think is applicable here because, West Palm Beach is not the biggest market, but either is Hilton Head. And no one's talking about getting rid of the RBC heritage. And so this is still a golf mad community, a community I think the PGA Tour should be targeting. The big question, though, as Rex pointed out, is the schedule and the jockeying for position, trying to make each and every stop desirable for the top players in the world. You look at the last 6 years of the Cognizant Classic, just three top 10 players in the world have teed it up in it. If you move it up in the schedule, if you make it the second or third week of the PGA Tour schedule, all of a sudden you have players who have been, without playing opportunities for the past 4 or 5 months, desperate to get onto the golf course and desperate, I think, to play a golf tournament 30 minutes from their home in most cases. So I think a simple schedule adjustment could really benefit tournaments like this. But when you zoom out, that's going to be the case for all of these tournaments. They're trying to jockey for position, making sure they're best suited to nab as many of the best players in the world as humanly possible.